Good evening and welcome to the Paranormal Lens podcast. My name is Chad Thomas. I'm here with Jamie Widener. We're both from we're Jott-Nyx Paranormal. That's it.
That's us. Yep.
That's us.
Hey,
How are you
Chad.
doing? Jamie, how are you doing tonight?
I am good. I'm tired. I'll tell you, it's been a week already. It's been a long weekend added into a couple days here already. My goodness.
hmm
Time flies when you're having fun, though. So, how about you? What's going on?
Well, I'm glad you were having fun this weekend because
Uh,
I didn't have all. Well, I did have fun, uh,
some, right.
but my car died. I've been dealing with that, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all worked out. I've got a
Okay.
temporary ride thanks to some friends that you know, and
Yep.
got a new one coming. Well, not new to
No,
me,
new to you. Yep.
coming Thursday. So it's all worked
Excellent.
out.
All right.
So,
Perfect. Perfect.
but that was going to an investigation.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
So
We
we
did the thing Saturday, right?
did, yeah. So it
Well,
was fun.
before we get there, I would be very remiss if I did not share this. Do you know what today is?
I Because of you, I do know what today is, but
Yes.
I'll let you have it.
So today, friends, and out there in the world, and anywhere who's listening to us later, but today, right now, today is International Podcast Day. And yeah, there's a day for everything, apparently. But it was created well over 10 years ago as a means to explore and expand on people's access to podcasts of all kinds. And, 15, 20 years ago, there weren't that many. Today, there's one for everything, or probably two or three for everything,
Or 300 maybe.
or yeah, or 300 as it may be. But I think in a good way that more is better. Variety is always a good thing. So with that, we're glad you're joining us here, whether we're live tonight, or later on as you're catching this. But thanks for listening,
Mhm.
or watching, or both. And we really appreciate you being around. So
We So, and thanks for pointing it out, Jamie. I'm glad you shared that with us so we could bring it up and share it with everybody out there.
yeah, and who knew? Again, there's a day for everything. There really is. Many
There
are
is.
many are multiples on one day. So
hmm So
it was recently International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
it was.
Are are you aware?
uh, I did because we did share that on our page. So, um,
Uh,
yeah,
anyway, I'm sorry. Hey, Heather's joined us.
Heather
Stefan has as well.
that's right. So, Heather's joined us, but we actually got to investigate with them this past weekend.
We did. We
And it was
did. It was
great. I
so
loved
cool.
it.
It's been
So,
too long. Well, for me, not so much. That we were at Wilson Castle not that long ago. I know you didn't make that, but getting Bert and Heather both, and Kaya actually too,
yeah.
all together. We were. It was an all hands on deck evening. Our team was rather lean due to vacations and travel and other family stuff. So the Lynches filled in as they always do with the wonderful knowledge, experience, and a little bit of humor. So
Cool.
grateful they made it.
Hmm. We may have to get one of these, Jamie,
Oh,
so we can track what's coming up.
I like this. All right. We
Stefan says my company sells National Day calendar that shows the various days every day. So,
aha. All right. I'll take two.
so,
Home and work.
so, so, thanks for sharing that, Stefan.
That's
So,
very cool.
so, so yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this past weekend at the brewery?
Well, it never fails, to have some activity. Yeah, it wasn't. No one walked out of the wall and introduced themselves yet again. Damn
No.
it. But it was a nuanced experience. We had a lot of flashlights. We had some REM pod activity. Some feels. From individuals with sensitivities.
hmm
So nothing overt like pounding you like aha moments,
hmm
but there were really some interesting things that happened. And I'll tell you this, Chad. When you deal with when you deal with the public, someone buys a ticket to come to your event, you never know what you're going to get,
Right.
right? And I can tell you, this weekend we had some dynamic guests who asked some very great questions and provided some really interesting insights.
hmm
And those moments, those times, all times were great. I appreciate folks who want to put their hard money down on a ticket and join us, and
hmm
do our very best to give you the best possible experience we can within, nothing happens on demand, but,
Right.
we're going to try and we'll engage as best we can. But, the banter and the conversation that comes out of these events are also really very priceless sometimes.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
and
this weekend we had some that really got me thinking,
mhm,
and just in the conversation. And it was interesting because they waited until we were into a break, so it was just one on one. And then like the second and third, they started opening up and asking some of the stuff with the groups. So I think
yeah, in
that's good
session. Yep.
because it helps everybody get a little piece of what we're talking about. You realize you're there for so much more than just the investigation. It's learning,
Yes.
and learning comes in so many different ways. But it was cool. Yeah, you're definitely right.
Yeah. And well, that's, again, this is, it's the guest's investigation. We
Mm.
always say that it's your experience,
Mhm,
and obviously some folks are pretty low key and laid back, don't do a whole lot with it. And some jump right up
mhm,
and get in the front. And, both are great. Nothing
mhm.
wrong with either. And I don't know that this person was either of those, maybe somewhere in the middle.
Right,
Um, but, I think yeah, and it helps expand the experience for everybody when people are engaged. So you learn a little bit.
right. So, and then you had the people who were there who were watching the Penn State game.
Yeah, it's true. And Bert added a comment here. I just said that to Heather after a bit. They started opening up. Yep,
Mhm.
exactly that.
So they did. So yeah, it was a good experience. So
Speaking of opening up, I hear Meg is in the room.
you are exactly right.
Excellent. Hey, Megs.
So, oh well, we've got I've got an interesting show tonight, but
Okay.
Jamie, I have a hard time following up last week's episode.
I
I
know, right?
That was talking. That was just a great experience. Megan was a. I I don't know where to go
You don't know what to say at this point, right?
at
Ah,
this point. No, it was so much fun talking to Megan, and I am looking forward to the production. I didn't realize I had a friend in the cast, so I'm really excited now. So
very cool. Yeah, I noticed today that they were starting to the Gretna Playhouse is starting to present the actors and
mhm,
as in advance of who you're going to experience with. And that was really cool to start to see that happening as well as really some interesting marketing materials
mhm,
that they've created. I'm sure that's Gracie's work as a publicist on the backside. So, but it's working because I noticed it.
uh-huh.
So, and again, I have my tickets next Friday, so I'm very much looking forward to getting there and getting immersed in
Mhm.
the woods of Gretna.
Yep. So, and I had so much fun. We're gonna keep pushing it until it's over. So,
Sure,
so,
absolutely.
but I do have something to present tonight.
Okay,
So, are you ready?
I am. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, let's see what we got. Uh, Gotta get all my screens organized here. Tonight, I'm diving into the Forbidden City in China. Like we always do, we'll dig into the history, talk about the hauntings, and then decide for ourselves. Do we think the place is haunted or not?
Hold on, Chad. I believe we might have an international guest
We
here. Hey,
do.
Amanda. It's so good to see you or hear from you.
Hey, Amanda. She reached out to me tonight on Messenger, and I was busy prepping for this, so I didn't get back to you. So, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. So,
He didn't ghost you.
well,
Whew,
but we know where they are, so we may have to get some follow up information from your episode on the
that's true.
catacombs.
That's true.
So,
Very cool.
so let's roll it back to the beginning.
Yep.
The Forbidden City sits in what's now Beijing, but back during the Yuan Dynasty, the city was called Dadu. Very well timed there, Bert. At the center of all of it was the imperial city, a huge palace complex. In 1368, the Ming armies came in, took over Dadu, and renamed it Beiping, which literally meant Northern Peace. Sort of funny there. They shifted the capital to Nanjing, but the old palace complex didn't last long. By 1369, the Hongwu emperor ordered it destroyed as part of wiping out the last traces of Mongol rule. A year later, in 1370, Hongwu's fourth son was given the title of Prince of Yan and set up his base in Beiping. About 9 years after that, he built his own palace inside the old Yuan imperial city. Fast forward to 1399, he makes his move, starts a coup, and by 1402, he's sitting on the throne as the Yongle Emperor. The very next year, Beiping got a new name, Beijing, meaning northern capital. And by 1406, Yongle had a plan, move the capital back to Beijing and build a brand new palace. That's when construction started on what we now call the Forbidden City. They actually used the layout of the palace at Nanjing as the blueprint, building right on top of the old Yuan site. And honestly, when you think about it, it's wild. So much fighting, power struggles, and destruction all happened before a single building of the Forbidden City was even standing.
Wow.
The Yongle Emperor began the construction of his new imperial palace that would physically and symbolically be the center of his reign. Over the next 14 years, more than 1 million laborers quarried marble, baked the famous golden bricks, and hauled timber, including the precious Phobie-Zenon logs, to assemble what would be completed around 1420. The result was an immense, strictly arranged complex, a ceremonial outer court for state business, and an inner court for the emperor's household. That remained the seat of imperial power for roughly 5 centuries. We don't even have 5 centuries worth of history here in our country.
Right.
I mean, Native American, but
Right.
our
Right.
history. So let's talk scale for a second, because the Forbidden City is massive, almost overwhelming when you think about it. The complex covers roughly 72 hectares, or about 178 acres. That's larger than many small towns. For centuries, people claimed it contained 9,999 rooms, a number meant to symbolize the emperor's supreme power. But modern surveys put the actual count closer to 8,800 or 8,900. Even still, just imagine walking through all those corridors, chambers, and courtyards is just mind-boggling, and probably a pain to clean. Now, everything about its design was intentional. The layout follows strict feng shui principles, aligning perfectly along a north-south axis, which was meant to mirror cosmic order. The most important buildings face south, honoring the sun, while the rest of the complex was carefully arranged to reinforce hierarchy and imperial authority. Color plays a role too. Reds and yellows dominate, conveying power and prosperity. And even the smallest architectural details matter. The height of a roof, the style of its eaves, and the number of guardian figurines perched on each ridge all signals the building's importance. Nothing is left to chance. Access through the city was tightly controlled. Gates were both physical and symbolic barriers. If you didn't have permission, you didn't enter. Ordinary citizens, no matter how brave or desperate, were barred from the inner areas, hence the name Forbidden City. The palace was both a fortress and a stage, a place where ritual, ceremony, and protocol were performed on a grand scale. Some of the structures are breathtaking. The Wu, or Meridian Gate, dominates the southern entrance. Its wings stretch out like paws of a guardian lion, almost daring intruders to approach. At 125 feet tall, it is one of the tallest structures in the complex and served as a backdrop for imperial proclamations and ceremonies. Beyond it lies a massive courtyard, spanned by the Golden Water River, crossed by 5 marble bridges, each meticulously carved and perfectly symmetrical, leading directly to the Gate of Supreme Harmony. You step through that gate and you enter the outer court, the political heart of the Forbidden City. This is where the emperor conducted state affairs and received his subjects. The 3 main halls rise from a triple-tiered marble terrace, overlooking a plaza large enough to hold tens of thousands of people. At the center of the hall is Supreme Harmony. At the center is the Hall of Supreme Harmony, the largest and most imposing building in the complex. This was the emperor's throne hall, the very center of imperial authority. Flanking it on either side are the Hall of Central Harmony and the Hall of Preserving Harmony, spaces where the machinery of government hummed day after day. If you move farther north, you move to the inner court. This was the private world of the emperor, his family, his closest attendants. Here, life followed strict rules and schedules. The inner court contained the emperor's living quarters, the empress's palaces, and the residences of concubines, servants, and hundreds of eunuchs. At the northern edge of the inner court lies the imperial garden, a relatively small but exquisite 3-acre oasis. Its winding paths, koi-filled ponds, and flowering trees and decorative pavilions contrast sharply with the rigid symmetry of the rest of the city. At its center stands the Hall of Imperial Peace, a Taoist temple where the emperor could escape the pressures of court life, meditate, and seek harmony. The Forbidden City remained the seat of power until the fall of the Qing dynasty in 1911. After Puyi, the last emperor, abdicated, he was allowed to stay in the palace for a short period, but he secretly left in 1924. Over the centuries, wars, revolutions, and neglect caused damage, yet the complex endured. In the 20th century, restoration efforts brought many of the structures back to their former glory. Today, it's preserved as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and managed by the Palace Museum, which protects much of the imperial collection. But the Forbidden City was never just about buildings. It was a living, breathing, highly policed social world. Thousands of people lived and worked there at any given time. Scholars, officials, eunuchs, concubines, and servants. Their lives were tightly controlled, bound by protocol, and often fraught with tensions. Concubines were selected as young girls and raised entirely within the palace walls, trained to obey and endure. Eunuchs wielded influence, but their power was precarious. Jealousies, betrayal, harsh punishments, and occasional suicides were not uncommon. Whole careers and entire lifetimes were shaped by the hierarchies and the rules of the palace. It's in this charged, intense atmosphere that the palace's ghost stories take root. All that ambition, fear, and human drama, the desperation of powerless, the scheming of the ambitious, and heartbreak and loss creates fertile grounds for restless spirit. The same walls that symbolized imperial power also witnessed incredible human suffering. That's why the Forbidden City isn't just an architectural marvel. It's a place where the past seems to linger and where the echoes of history can feel almost alive. And it's in that tension between grandeur and secrecy, power and suffering, that sets the stage for tales of hauntings we're about to explore. So, with history in mind and atmosphere settled, let's step past the gates and into the stories that claim the Forbidden City is still very much alive in ways you may or may not expect. So, any questions so far, Jamie?
Now, maybe just a comment instead. The word that I think, to me at least, sums up this entire complex. You know, this is vast. So complex probably is too small a word,
Mm-hmm.
but intentionality comes to
Mm-hmm.
mind. Like, if with all the minute details being planned, the physical placement of all the buildings, the locations. It's amazing to me. Looking back at the time of creation, the time this was all made, and the physical abilities. We didn't have mechanical tools. Everything was hand.
Correct.
Looking at the details that have survived all this time. In all these images you've shared, which are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the actual intentionality is just so amazing, and just it is overwhelming to some
Right.
degree. I mean, just you could spend forever here and
Right.
not see it all, with all the details anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about a medieval structure built out of wood and brick that has endured. Like,
Yeah.
it is completely amazing. So,
We
well,
were joking, before coming on about medieval structures. I'm like, well, there's plenty of castles still left, but
uh
most of them are stone,
right.
not wood, and the parts that are wood, have been replaced well over many times, likely,
Hmm.
because it just didn't have the craftsmanship. that existed here.
Yeah, and just
Impressive.
you were like looking at some of these pictures. It's the artisans that created this just were skilled.
Yeah.
Like we're looking at almost two different societies, but
Well,
we
I'm sure
digress.
there
So
are, right, and I'm sure we'll get to there.
so,
Yeah, it's a
so
place. Yeah, let's talk spooky stuff.
let's move on. Yeah. So as we step away from the grand architecture and delve into the darker corners of the Forbidden City, we enter a realm where history intertwines with the supernatural. The palace's long history of power struggles, betrayals, and untimely deaths has given rise to numerous ghost stories and legends which have been passed down through generations, adding layers of mystery to an already enigmatic palace. Here we go. We always have this story, Jamie. Perhaps the most enduring legend is that of the woman in white. According to various accounts, she is a concubine who met a tragic end within the palace walls. Her spirit is said to wander the corridors dressed in white, weeping for her lost love and the injustices she suffered. Visitors and staff have reported seeing a woman dressed in white, her face obscured by long black hair, wandering the grounds at night. Guards and staff have described hearing the sounds of footsteps following them, only to turn around and find no one there. These unexplained noises are often attributed to the restless spirits of those who perished within the palace walls. Additionally, some visitors have reported hearing eerie flute music emanating from the walls, adding to the atmosphere of unease. Another poignant story is that of the consort Zen, also known as the Pearl Concubine. Believed to be the most beautiful woman in the palace, she was born in 1876. Her relationship with the emperor was forbidden by strict rules of the imperial court, leading to a tragic end. Her spirit is said to haunt the Forbidden City, searching for her lost love. The Hall of Mental Cultivation, or Yangzin Hall, served as the residence for emperors and the center of governance and political administration during the Qing dynasty. Empress Dowager Zizi, a powerful figure in Chinese history, ruled from behind a silk screen curtain in this hall for 48 years. The hall's quiet and dusty interior, rarely open to the public, has become prone to widespread pest breeding, posing challenges into the preservation of cultural relics. This isolation in Hall's history also can contribute to its eerie stories. There have been numerous reports of strange occurrences and unexplained phenomena within the Forbidden City. Visitors and staff, like I said earlier, have reported hearing footsteps echoing in the halls, doors opening and closing on their own, and even sightings of apparitions dressed in imperial robes. Some tourists have claimed to hear ghostly singing or weeping, and some have gotten lost in the complex's intricate paths, never to return or returning with no memory of their ordeal. One of the most famous ghost stories associated with the Forbidden City is that of the concubine Wanrong. Wanrong was the wife of the last emperor of China, Puyi, and her tragic fate has become the stuff of legends. According to the tale, Wanrong was deeply unhappy in her marriage and longed for freedom. It is said that she took her own life within the palace walls, unable to bear the weight of her despair any longer. Visitors to the Forbidden City have reported eerie encounters in the area where Wanrong is believed to have died. Some claim to have seen a ghostly figure dressed in imperial robes wandering the halls in search of solace. Others have reported hearing faint cries and whispers, as if the spirit of Wanrong is still trapped within the palace walls, forever haunted by her tragic past. Another ghostly legend that surrounds the Forbidden City is that of the Nine Dragon Wall. This magnificent, stumbling over English words
The
today.
English is getting you tonight. Yeah, go figure.
This magnificent structure, adorned with intricate dragon carvings, is said to be haunted by the spirits of the dragons themselves. According to local folklore, the dragons come to life at night, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Visitors who have ventured near the Nine Dragon Wall after dark have reported feeling a chilling presence and hearing the sound of rustling scales. Some even claim to have seen the dragons moving, their stone bodies coming to life in a ghostly dance. While skeptics dismiss these accounts as mere imagination, believers argue that the ancient power of the dragon still lingers within the walls of the Forbidden City. The haunting tales of the Forbidden City extend beyond the walls and into its vast gardens. The Imperial Garden, with its serene ponds and lush foliage, is said to be a hotspot for supernatural activity. Visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures darting between the trees, their presence felt but never seen clearly. One particularly chilling tale involves the ghost of a young girl who is said to haunt the garden. Legend has it that she was a servant girl who met a tragic end at the hands of a jealous concubine. Visitors claim to have seen her ghostly figure sitting by the pond, her eyes filled with sadness and longing. Some have even reported feeling a cold hand brushing against their skin as they pass by, a chilling reminder of the girl's presence. While these ghostly legends and haunting tales add an air of mystery to the Forbidden City, it's important to approach them with a bit of skepticism. These stories have been passed down for generations, making it difficult to separate fact from fiction. But that's part of their charm. The power of these tales the power of these tales lies in how they capture our imagination, transporting us to a world where the line between living and the dead feels blurred. Now, whether the Forbidden City is truly haunted remains a mystery. What is certain, however, is that the legends and stories surrounding this ancient palace continue to fascinate visitors from all around the world. As you wander its grand halls and explore hidden corners, keep an open mind and let the history and the stories guide you through this captivating world of ghosts and intrigue. Now, if you're curious to experience it for yourself, the Forbidden City is the largest imperial palace in the world. With about 8,700 rooms spread across nearly 980 buildings, plan plenty of time to explore. Some guides even suggest a 4-day tour to take it all in. Tickets must be purchased in advance as they often sell out, especially during peak season when 80,000 tickets are allocated daily. 80,000, Jamie. So visiting hours are April through October from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and November through March from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. If you were hoping for a nighttime ghost hunt, unfortunately, that won't be possible. The palace closes well before dark and no after-hours exploration is allowed. Still, even in daylight, the sense of history and perhaps a lingering hint of the supernatural makes the experience unforgettable. So, as I wrap this up, remember that the Forbidden City is more than a historic place. It's a repository of human triumph and tragedy. Its grandeur and beauty are undeniable, but its walls also have seen fear, heartbreak, and death. Maybe it's just the perfect place for spirits to linger, or maybe these tales are just echoes of the past, growing taller with each retelling. Whether the truth, Whatever the truth, the Forbidden City continues to captivate our imagination. Its stories, both historical and supernatural, invite us to look closer, listen carefully, and maybe, just maybe, feel a chill as we walk through its shadowed halls. So I think we have a little bit to unpack here, Jamie, but let me cite some sources first.
Yeah, of course.
First, I have the www.thechinajourney.com / and these words are all separated by a dash. How big is the Forbidden City in China? www.discoverbeijingtours.com / forbidden city. bkps.co 2020 / 2024 / is the Forbidden City haunted, with dashes in between those. www.britannica.com / topic / forbidden city. moonmausoleum.com / the secrets of Beijing's haunted Forbidden City, with dashes. And lastly, chinasforbiddencity.com / why is some ghost stories of the Forbidden City still told? I think that's everything.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
Well, before we discuss, let me catch up to some comments that came through while you were sharing.
mm-hmm.
So first of all, going way back to the beginning, Amanda commented that yes, it's 3 a.m. in France right now. So good morning, I think. Or is it good night? I don't know where you're at with that, but if you haven't slept yet, it's still night. right?
Yep.
And it's 3 a.m. is not late for a paranormal investigator, by the way.
Nope.
Um, and a smiley face and I believe some wine glasses. When in France,
I think they're ghosts, Jamie.
they could be. You know what? I'm sorry. There they are. Okay. I like the wine glasses too, though. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe ghost with wine glasses. Now we're on to something. All right. And then the next, come investigate France. Let's do it.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. We'll be on the next Concorde. They don't fly those
No,
anymore.
they don't.
No, I don't. Yeah. Oh, wow. And it's they're talking now about the Forbidden City and so
Hmm.
beautiful too. What irony.
Yep.
Comment from Bert. Loved investigating France. Going back to Amanda. Huge Templar presence there. I agree
Hmm.
with that. Coming back into the episode with the context, why is she always in white for the woman in white? Yeah, creepy with a lot of P's and a few extra Y's.
Yep.
Coming to Bert, I'm sorry, to Heather. To us, it seems like it's enormous, but I feel that the people who never, excuse me, but I feel for the people who never left its walls. I'm sure
Hmm.
it felt small to them. And that's a very good point. You know, we see this enormous thing, but reality is that you may have only had access to a very small part of it as well, depending on your place or station. And then Amanda again, wow, that's huge and incredible. 4 days, wow,
Hmm.
for the overall tour time to see it all. And then 80,000 tickets. A big comment to that. Um, they were ghost silly, haha. And I think gets us caught
I
up.
think that's it.
So
So, Jamie, let me throw a few facts out there that I included, but so there were 1 million laborers that, like I said earlier, there were 100,000 artisans who worked on this. Only 10% of the complex is open to the public right now. It is the
wow,
largest and best preserved collection of medieval wooden architecture in the world. And the Palace Museum in the Forbidden City holds more than 1 million rare and valuable works of art, a sixth of the total number of cultural relics in China.
it's a lot.
Yeah, this whole thing is amazing.
Yeah. And jump on another comment here too from Bird. I love Chinese and Japanese traditional culture. Um, maybe because of Karate Kid. Well, maybe,
Maybe.
maybe.
Hmm.
And Stefan has commented, some societies appreciate their history better than others. And that's a very well made point, sir.
Hmm.
And Amanda, a historical time capsule, and that it is.
It is. So, and we were just, I mean, as a world culture, we are so lucky that this was not destroyed
Yes.
and has been preserved. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Well, I can't help but think of this in a different way that, it's to the point of that is, we are one misplaced candle or a spark from a fire away from having a stick built city
Hmm.
go. It wouldn't take much. We've seen like the Great Fire of London took out half the city. And we've had the fire in San Francisco back in our own time, our own world here in the U.S. Took out
Chicago.
Chicago, took out most of the city at one point because we built buildings with wood. We
Hmm.
didn't have better resources yet, so and wood was plenty. So we are so fortunate that none of this negative impact type opportunities happened to the city there because it wouldn't be with us. It's irreplaceable.
Right.
I do want to I want to note something too. With 80,000 tickets per day, you think about we see at our investigations we see 30 maybe 40 people.
Hmm.
You know how hard it is to make sure everybody's out of the building. One building.
I can't imagine like like
Holy cow!
it just it's mind boggling. Like, and 980 buildings. So
Wow,
obviously they're not all, and that's
they're not,
probably
they're not
why
be available. Yeah,
only 10% are open. Just, but if 100% were open, can you imagine how many more people you could?
it's still 90 buildings. That's a
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, we've been in places where there's multiple buildings. Crescent comes to mind.
Hmm.
With all with the vastness of that property. And say there's 10 buildings there. That's still you can be if you want to be lost, you can be lost really quick.
Mhm.
or not be found. You can tuck in somewhere, duck away. Um, Obviously, you can get lost. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
Right.
that negligence, or ill intent from a guest, but you really could just get. Well, I got lost. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm pretty sure I know where I am.
Uh-huh.
But it is amazing. And that many. Well, I would say you probably won't see each other. Yeah, Bert says well here. Wouldn't want to be that security guard. Yeah,
Well, but that's the other thing. I wouldn't wanna mess with the Chinese police and get caught,
yeah,
somewhere where I wasn't supposed to be.
exactly. And I think this comment from Amanda is in context to Crescent, 17 buildings. It was a marathon. Yeah, it's a massive complex there too.
Mhm.
Amazing. So but these that part of it is one thing, but the 4 days to me makes sense because of all the culture and
Mhm.
the just to look at art. I mean, yeah, you can buzz through a space, and look at everything on the wall and go, okay, cool, got it. But to
Right.
digest it, to really appreciate it, to see the nuance of it, you got to stand there for a while. You got to be with it for a minute. Uh, and that's where a lot of the time comes in. But even still, I'll change gears to say our own investigation that we did out at Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. We had the main building for one night,
Mhm.
and we didn't cover it, all
No,
of it,
not
right? So
even
there was
close.
2 nights that we could have done, and then you talk about the other buildings on the property, and we could have done each of those in their own nights, and that's 2, 3, 4 nights actually probably there as well. And we've had that conversation internally with the team. We certainly could have spent a long time there, and
Mhm.
we probably should have. Well, I should have. Of course, we should have. But you know, with respects to a budget, that's where the expense, your own expense starts to come into these things.
Mhm.
But and is it marketing? To some degree, is it saying, hey, you should get 4 days worth of tickets, wherever the rate is.
Right.
Okay, cool. And that's a little cynical. Maybe I don't mean it to be negative, but
Right.
maybe that's part of it. But if you really want to truly immerse yourself into this, I think you have to spend the time.
Right.
And in any place you go to, you just have to take the time and really be there and be in the moment.
Mhm. Well, I was trying to find ticket prices, and they're not published anywhere other than on the official website. You cannot buy tickets from a third party vendor.
Hmm.
Like, this is
Okay.
like, you have to go through the their site. They publish tickets 7 days at a time.
Oh,
And and what and like, I just looked, they're all sold out for the next week. Like,
okay.
there's nothing available. And it's like one of those, it's like getting your driver's license in Pennsylvania. You have to sit and wait till the thing is open,
Yeah.
and you sign up for your time and you hope you get it. You hope
Yeah.
you're That's what it is with these tickets. And it's just, the other thing is, they are so strict with the tickets that you enter your passport information into the ticket site, and your passport is your ticket. When you go to
Ah,
check in, you present your passport and they run all the information from your passport. So there's no trading tickets, there's no scalping
right.
tickets. Like, it's really strict.
Wow.
So, and I didn't even look into what you can take and can't take into the like,
Oh, sure.
yeah, so, but it's just, yeah,
Amanda commented that, so you're here to investigate this place? Time to quit your day job.
yeah,
LOL. Yeah. Unless your day job is being like a tour guide there
right.
or something. That would be cool,
Mhm.
I think. I have to really brush up on my Chinese though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your Chinese history, and then know all
Right.
your dynasties and like,
I have enough trouble with English, to be honest. Okay. Probably
yeah,
not a good idea.
so so,
But
but
still, that is, if this is what we talk about a lot, and we're getting off a little bit here, but bear with me. We talked about this before. If time and money, those kind of obstacles were no issue, this would be the kind of thing that I would want to immerse in and give the time and money to.
mhm,
This kind of place, and obviously the paranormal stuff's really cool, right? I
right,
like that, but I'm there for the history as well, and
exactly, yeah.
the art and the cultural expression that's there. It's just such an
Well,
amazing thing.
and this
Deep.
ties, again, this ties, typically, we're talking about history and paranormal, But this ties one more thing into that, which is the art, because
Mm.
the buildings are the art, plus all the art inside them. It's just like some of those pictures were just
Yeah.
like of the outside of the buildings, the intricacy of carving the ends of the timbers. Like it
Yeah.
was just like it's mind boggling. So,
Absolutely. Here's a comment I think you can appreciate from Stefan. I toured the governor's mansion at Colonial Williamsburg. The hour and a half wasn't enough.
hmm,
And you spent a good amount of time in Williamsburg as well.
yep,
I've been in the building, but it was a very long time ago, and I don't recall it very well. But I can agree to the at least to the point. The time is not enough.
you know, unless you're with kids and then they're
Oh
rushing
yeah,
you through and you want to get out and go back on your own. But that's a whole,
yeah. You
but
want to go stick them out in the labyrinth and
exactly,
hedgerow.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
See.
yeah, you could, that building isn't that big. Like
Right.
you could
Yeah.
spend easily 2 to 3 hours just looking at it, and
Mhm.
the tour guides are pushing you through, and it's like I'd just like to wander through at my own pace.
Yeah. That's
So,
why I really appreciate places that have, the self tour option.
mhm,
It's a different ticket price. You get a headset, perhaps, you get to listen to, that kind of a thing, but you stop where you want to, you spend the time you want to, you just have to be out before close.
mm,
Those are the values. I mean, charge me a few bucks extra. I don't care.
right,
But let me do it at my pace and absorb it the way I feel I need to.
mhm. Yeah, Amanda's comment, "I can't even imagine all the blood, sweat, and tears put into creating that place. Just the painting, the carving alone, absolutely breathtaking."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's spooky stuff on top of it.
And yeah.
Well, to that point, I couldn't help but notice there was a lot of familiar things, right? That
Mhm.
we have everywhere. The woman in white obviously is a thing. Um, you know, a woman in white with long, stringy, dark hair.
That
That
covers
is the
her
plot.
face, yep.
That is the plot to The Ring, by the way. Um, so
Mhm.
not cool,
Right.
not cool. But the idea that we can't our minds take us to a thing, right? And I think this is somewhat maybe that it's pareidolia, maybe power suggestion, certainly, but we put those, that we have that image in us because it's been presented to us so many times, and then we come across something that has some striking resemblance to the premise of a ghost. And regardless of what it is, we put it there. And I'm not knocking anybody's claims. I'm certainly never going to do that. It's not my place. I wasn't there. I'm not that person. I
Right.
believe you, whoever you are. But it's such a familiar thing. And here we are all the way around the world, that we have the similar things, the footsteps, the sound, the motion sounds, the doors opening and closing, activity when there should be no one there. Those things, the
Mhm.
sound of music, the flute music you mentioned, um, singing. Another one that's obvious. That is definitely an audible thing. It's hard to mistake it.
Right.
Especially in a place where there really shouldn't be any.
Right.
It's not like you're going to get somebody's radio coming from the third floor apartment. As you're walking down the street, right?
Right.
So, or some boombox somewhere, whatever. It is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
That there is such consistency around the claims, and uh, impressive to say so as well.
Right. And Stefan says 1 million laborers over 14 to 15 years is a huge number.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
absolutely.
then add on top of that the artisans, because you're again two different classes of people working together to create this. I mean, just the amount of lumber that needed to be harvested, the marble, like the
Yeah.
bricks, like mind boggling.
Not a small scale event. This was huge. This was planned.
Hmm.
And the intricacy of it all, like the detail intricacy
Hmm.
as well. There was the whole front end. The manual labor part is amazing, and no doubt about it. But
Right.
the planning details to get to the labor in the first place, it was extensive as well.
Hmm.
And that's never going to be documented as far as how much it took. But
Right.
the labor is impressive though.
It makes some of like the European things that were done look minuscule and
Some, sure.
unplanned. I mean, this is on the scale of the Great Pyramids, like the
Yeah.
intricacy of it. It's just, again, I mind-boggling keeps coming to mind. I just can't come up with another word for it. So,
Oh, yes. The comment from Stefan here as well. The European societies couldn't even scrap together a tenth of the manpower, and that's fair.
hmm
With the well, first of all, with the feudal kind of efforts, with independence and of different community, it wasn't one controlled element as it was in China with the emperor.
yeah.
There was just so many factors or factions that it just made it be almost all but impossible, and then a limited amount of resources as well.
hmm So, what do you think, Jamie? Do you think this place is haunted?
I think it should be,
Yeah.
given history, given trauma and drama. You mentioned one of the consorts who had a relationship back in 1876 or so
hmm
with the emperor, and her spirit still exists there. And it takes me to, I say this, like, I feel like I say this every week, but where there's passion, there's energy. And when there's
Right.
energy, there's activity. And that plays directly to it. A relationship, a love,
Mhm.
is the strongest passion. And um, it would make sense to me, and I'm sure, if one person had that passion, there were many others, as many was or people who are there in the
Right.
space. The deaths that would have occurred, and certainly, the jealousy
hmm
is another passion, and that takes more to back to the energy and activity. So
Right.
I certainly can see it all, and there would have been people passionate about creating the space. All these artists and artisans who are just making beautiful things.
Right.
Again, so I can't see how it's not, given the size as well, and its depth of history.
Well,
I,
and
I
and
think we're, yeah,
and the time span, you took 5 centuries,
yeah,
500 years. It just, yeah.
more in a
So,
minute.
hmm so I just,
Well, what about you?
I,
Where do
I,
you, where do you go on this?
I would say yes. I would believe that this is haunted. The fact that they do close at night, part of that is probably because it's going to be hard to wrangle people out of there after dark.
Yeah,
It's probably hard enough during the day, but um, but probably, that's when it's dark and quiet is when you're going to get more activity.
sure.
So I'm sure that they want to keep that exposure to a minimum. We're learning that more and more about places wanting to not hide the paranormal, but keep it as low
Yeah.
key as possible. So, but yes, I would agree that I think this is haunted. So,
I would still step back to Amanda's comment here. Love, envy, passion, pain, loss, loneliness, happiness, longing, all of those create
hmm
energy, and therefore energy and activity. So, yeah, well said, Amanda. And Bert, OSHA didn't exist, so there were deaths during construction,
hmm
equal haunted.
so
So, well
well,
said as well.
yeah, and unfortunately, I don't mean this as unfortunately we have OSHA. Fortunately, we have OSHA in this country.
Right.
I worked in the third world country for 3 years, where we didn't have
Mhm.
a entity like OSHA. Every project that they built, you expected 1 to 2 people to pass away. It was just part of the process.
Acceptable loss.
hmm
Yep.
And it doesn't seem like in the world we live in that should be a thing, but it was. Third world countries are a whole different thing. So
Yeah.
so so Stefan says here, the anime, the Apothecary Diaries, explores a version of the Forbidden City. Ghost stories are part of the storyline. The one story is similar to The Woman in White. So,
Ah. Okay.
mhm. I also will note that the Last Emperor, parts of that were filmed within the walls of this city.
Yep.
So,
I was thinking there's more than that too. There's another. Drawing a blank. Was a feature film that was filmed there with special permission and
hmm
limited access. Amanda says here that Definitely haunted, I think. I feel that there is no way all that energy could just dissipate. Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Yep.
Well said.
So,
All right.
well,
Well,
I think we're all on the same page on this one.
I agree. Yep.
So,
Good topic.
yeah.
That was cool. I've learned
And
something. I learned a lot, actually.
yeah. And as I said to you earlier, I just scratched the surface of this. Like if we wanted, we could break down this show into probably 15 more shows and talking about different eras and like,
Sure.
but we're not going to do that because there's plenty of other topics out there. So,
Maybe
but
to revisit sometime.
yeah,
Sure.
maybe. But speaking of other topics, Jamie,
Yes. Yes. We're moving on.
yeah,
Uh,
it's the
Next,
small print again. I'm sorry.
I got it. I got it. I got it. I got glasses on. I moved the monitor closer here too,
Uh,
so I'm not quite as blind as I usually am. Uh, so next week, I'm going to discuss the mysteries of Mount Shasta in Northern California. I'm going to tease this just enough for I think, but this conversation is going to be around a lost civilization, perhaps a hidden city inside the mountain, UFOs, and Bigfoot.
all
So
in one episode.
all in one episode, dude. It's going to be
Oh,
great. I the more I started digging into this the other day, and then the more I went, the more I'm finding, and I'm like, this is epic. So
uh-huh.
I hope to do it justice. I really do. I'm going to try my best.
I'm sure you will.
After that, on the 14th of October, Chad is going to go with the Endless Hallways, Secrets of the Winchester House, staying in California as well, and coming back to the hauntings of the Virginia Historic Triangle. Speaking of Williamsburg and
Hmm.
some of the areas around it, so
Yeah.
that's also Chad there. And October 28th, I'm going to take on Abducted, the Travis Walton UFO encounter. It is basically the 50th anniversary of his experience that week. So if you don't know who Travis Walton is, an individual in a lumberjack in Arizona was abducted back in um, 50 years ago. It was 1974, so or 75. And a UFO abduction that became quite famous. The film Fire in the Sky was based on his experience. Been well documented through the years. And Travis is still living. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to get a hold of him. And I'm sure he's probably done with us folks like us by now with the span of his lifetime. But I hope to do justice to that one as well. But that one's one that's interested me for a very long time. We haven't really done anything UFO related, especially around abduction. So
Yeah.
I think it's time.
Hmm.
And November 4th, we talked about November already. Holy cow. Celebrating spirits, the tales of Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead,
Hmm.
right after Halloween, of course. And then I'm going to go on November 11th, the Haunted Stronghold Tales from the Castle of Good Hope in South Africa.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. And I'm just going to throw it out there. We got Mr. Dills lined up again.
yes, coming soon. Yeah, it'll be a little later in November.
Hmm.
So get your popcorn, go to the bathroom. Steve's coming.
So, yeah, I'm hoping to jump on for part of that, but I will be on vacation.
You're on assignment, so I
I
totally
am.
understand.
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna be flying solo at least to start this. So hang on, folks. I don't know how any of this stuff works, so we got to get a crash course in the next couple weeks. So
so
uh, we'll probably be okay. Don't worry.
I'm sure you'll be fine. So,
All right,
all right. Well, I had fun on this. Oh, we've got more. I
we
keep
got more. We're not done yet.
We're not done.
So as we talked last week with Megan Baum, the managing director at Gretna Playhouse, the Gretna Theater, they have coming up Whispers in the Dark, Chilling World of Urban Legends. Tickets are still available, although they are going fast. It runs October 9th, 10th, 11th, and also then on the 16th, 17th, and 18th, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the week after. Tickets are available at www.gretnatheater.org. Go check it out. Chad and I are going to see it separately in different weekends. And it is an immersive experience. You get to walk through the woods and have vignettes of various urban legends presented to you. It is a theater event,
Hmm.
um, but there is the porch and pantry is available as far as some snacks and stuff go along. A couple of warm cider won't never hurt, right?
Hmm.
Maybe a s'more or two. But get out, and then if you're at all in the Mount Gretna area here in South Central Pennsylvania, get your tickets, get there, and enjoy that experience.
And I'm getting a backstage tour, Jamie. I'm excited.
You are. That's
Yeah.
right. That's so cool. All right. And then there is more. So
Mhm.
investigation wise, we have a couple public events coming up, but they're starting to sell out. We have 4 tickets left for October 11th. And October is definitely spooky season.
Mhm.
And our investigation on October 18th officially today sold out. So there we might get tickets added to this one, maybe just because of where it is in the calendar, so close to Halloween. But at this point, it may not happen. But if you really want to get there, and you just have a burning desire, reach out to Chad or I, touch base here through the episode. The show, we'll share our email address here in a minute. Just touch base with us, see what we can do for you.
Yep.
No promises, but we'll try our best. And then the next event after all of that is on November 8th, and there are about 25 tickets left there. So that one's still plenty of availability open to it. But that will start to go as we get closer as well.
Mhm.
But Booby's Brewery in Mountjoy, PA is our home base. For those who don't know us very well, South Central Pennsylvania. It is on the National Historic Register. We get to investigate the Central Hotel, which is the main original part of the building. The Alois Bar, which is, again, the original bar for the property, and the Booby family home above on the ballroom level, and then all the way down 43 feet underground in the catacombs. Um, and a lot of activity in all those different layers. So um, if you have not done a public investigation or a paranormal investigation, we'll show you how to do it, teach you with our equipment, show you the trade tools tactics that we have, that we do. Um, but and if you're a seasoned investigator, bring your gear and come on out and join us.
Jamie, one thing I just remembered about this past weekend's investigation,
Yes.
95% of the people had never done an investigation before.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That was amazing.
yeah.
But
And and that's not unusual, right? Because
mhm,
there's only so many places available to us to go to,
right.
unless you know someone, or you're willing to go out and go to a place like a public place. So it's not unusual, and having something close to home really is convenient. That we're not traveling. We went to Tala, and it was a 4-hour drive,
Mhm,
right, each way. So it's not something where I'm going to pop over there for the night and come back. Um,
right.
you know, so getting something close to home or something close to your region, there are accommodations on site. You can actually stay there. There are hotel rooms on the third floor, single rooms there, and then across the street at the Malt Baron Mansion, there is an Airbnb in the building. That is the building. So there's definitely accommodations. Mountjoy is more fun when you stay over, right, Chad?
That's right.
So there it is. We got something for everybody.
So, okay.
All right, and finally, how to find us. Now, obviously, you're here with us tonight on this live episode or catching us later on all the streaming services. But if you're curious about us as a team and all the things that Jott-Nyx Paranormal offers us as Paranormal Lens in the podcast, you can find us on Linktree, which is linktr.ee/paranormal lens, all spelled out. And there's lots of cool stuff there. All the links to all of our socials are there. We also have a store. We can get Paranormal Lens gear and such. So Christmas is coming. Not a bad time to get a T-shirt or a travel mug, some
In-
candles.
International Coffee Day is coming on October 1st.
International Coffee Day. There's an international day for everything.
Right.
You need to get one. You need to get that calendar from Stefan.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we don't miss anything.
So,
But yeah, with that also though, our email is paranormallenspodcast@gmail.com. If you've got something to share, as far as a thought for an episode, something that you're just like, hey guys, you have to talk about this. We're all open for it.
mhm.
We've done lots of listener submissions. We're certainly going to do more as they come. Give us a little time to research it, of course, but make sure
we
we present it correctly.
we actually got a guest submission last week from Megan after we went off
We
the air.
did. We did. I saw you put it on the schedule. So
I'm excited. That one's going to be interesting.
yeah,
She, I'm going to throw it out there. She said, "How about paranormal in the law?" Because her degree is in law,
yep.
and they had to actually study some stuff on it. And I'm like, I didn't even know it existed. So,
I'm looking forward to this one too.
yeah,
I was looking at the schedule, thinking about it, and I saw you put it there. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, as long as one of us gets to it,
yeah.
that's what matters.
So yeah, so it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. But but again, we want to thank everybody who came and joined us tonight. Everybody who's going to watch us in the future or listen to this as a podcast. The only reason we do this is because of our viewers and the people out there watching us. So we want to say thank you. we enjoy doing the research, but it would just be boring if the two of us presented it to each other. So,
Yeah.
again, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to spend an hour with us, and coming back every week that you do. So,
Yep. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
so any other closing thoughts, Jamie?
Oh, man, I got all these places we got to go now around the world. We need to get that paranormal plane that we keep talking about. You know, gas
Uh-huh.
it up and go.
So,
Goodness. Yeah,
yeah,
great topic tonight. Thank you so much. It was enlightening.
yeah,
Really cool. And
my pleasure. So,
nice to hear from Amanda
mhm.
and Kelly and you guys out over in France. We miss you guys. Glad you're doing well there. Um,
Keep in
we
touch.
never know. We show up in weird places, so you never know. But we'll call first. Don't worry.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, on that note, I think we'll wrap it up. The Forbidden City is a place where history and legend meet. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the past lingers here. So stay alert, stay respectful, and stay curious. Good night, everybody.